Hi everyone, this is Nikki Rowland, and today I have a layout for Lottie Loves Paper using the beautiful Daydream collection by Cocoa Vanilla Studio. Okay, so today I am using the rainbow paper. I've been putting this off because it's so beautiful that I didn't know what to do with it, and didn't want to cut it up, and I didn't want to ruin it, and I wanted to make sure that I did it justice. So I've thought long and hard about what to do with this layout, and finally I have taken the plunge and cut into it. So for those of you who know me well, my style is not to have anything particularly flat on the paper, on the background, so therefore I would prefer this layout to have lots of dimension and interest rather than being the flat rainbow design as it is printed on the paper. So I have therefore cut it up. So I've cut out all of the rainbow stripes. Are they stripes or rays? No, they're not rays, are they? Stripes. So all of the rainbow stripes, I've cut them out. Now I've carefully cut around these hearts so that they remain as they are, and just taken out all of those middle bits that I don't really need. So therefore all of my rainbow stripes are now separate individual pieces that I can reattach to the paper. I know most people would probably think this is a bit weird, but I am doing something to these rainbow stripes, so there is a method to the madness. So I'm just distressing the edges of all of these because I like to have my edges distressed. I like things to kind of stand off the page, and then I am going to stick them back in place. But before I do that, I'm going to add some details to those stripes so that they're a little bit more exciting. They're exciting anyway, of course, but even more exciting this way. So yeah, I'm just spending some time with my scissors distressing the edges of each of those stripes, and then I'm going to move on to embellishing things a bit further. So I've wondered about whether I should make the rainbow smaller, so it's quite a large element on the page, and as much as I love that, I thought I wonder if I can squish it all together and make it a little bit smaller, but in the end I decided against that. So I went backwards and forwards. You saw me there just bring it all down a bit, and then I could have cut off the bottom, the feet of all of the rainbow stripes. I could have cut all of those off and made the whole thing a bit smaller, but in the end I actually decided to stay large because it is fabulous, isn't it? It's such a fabulous paper. How gorgeous is this? So yes, I did decide to stay large, and I have a photo from my craft room. It's actually of me. I don't appear on my layouts that often. Normally if I'm on a layout, I'm on a layout with a child, but on this occasion it's just me and my rainbow. So for those of you who know Jo Boland, she is a fabulous crocheter. Is that how you say it? She crochets rainbows, and she made loads and loads for the NHS, and they hung them on a tree, and people would take the rainbows and leave a donation for the NHS, and in the end they raised like over £1,500. It was amazing. Anyway, so I obviously had to have one of these, and I think the whole Go-Go team did, and they are just gorgeous, and this one hangs in my craft room. So this is my photo of me with my crocheted rainbow, and also there's a string of crocheted flags in the background as well that Jo also made for me. So I have lots of Jo's creations in my craft room. So right now what I'm doing is I've pierced holes around all of those hearts on the big rainbow stripe, the pink one, and then on the blue one it has like a zigzag pattern, so I have pierced holes in all of that too, and I'm planning to do some hand stitching here. And on this pink one I'm going to add in some pink pom-pom trim. I wasn't sure whether I should have a single row of pom-poms or a double row, but actually the single row looks fine, so I didn't need to double up there. And I'm just sticking that to the inside, and I will stitch that in place as well so that it doesn't come out, but I'll do that with my sewing machine instead of hand stitching. But the hearts and the zigzags are going to be hand stitched. So I'm just going through my threads trying to find colours that match. They don't have to be a perfect match, they just have to be, you know, the right kind of tone. So I just went through and found the ones that worked I pulled out a gold one there to go with the yellow, but actually in the end I don't do any stitching on the yellow one. I was going to try and stitch all the little dashes, but it wasn't going to look right, so I didn't do it. So here we go. I skipped forward now to when my stitching is complete. That was super fast. In reality, this layout took me the entire day, because I stitched all of those hearts and all those zigzags as well, and I was also doing other things and chatting to people as well, so this is not necessarily a true reflection of how fast I normally scrapbook. It wouldn't normally have taken me all day. Okay, so now that I have all my stitching done, I'm going to get my rainbow back onto my paper, and I just needed to make sure that my rainbow was correct in the right place. So the best way of doing that was to line up the one that had most edges on the cardstock. So the left edge and the bottom edge, there I had a perfect right angle there, so it was easy to position that first light pink strip in place before I did any of the others, and then the others can just kind of sit around it, so that works. So this one was a bit more tricky because I had to poke it under all the pom-poms. But that worked. That was okay. I've also added foam pads to all of my rainbow stripes as well, so that they stand up off the page and give me some lovely shadows as well. So lots and lots of dimension going on there. It also means I can I've forgotten what I was going to say. There was something momentous that I was going to say then. Anyway, let me explain what I'm doing now. Is that I'm putting my next rainbow stripe on, but actually there was quite a big gap between the pink and the dark pink. So I've actually brought that down a bit. So you can see there's the big gap, and I wasn't too happy about that. So I thought, I wonder if I can bring that down. So I take it all off again and then move it down a bit. Then you can see that even though it falls off the bottom, and now I'd stitched as well, so I couldn't cut it off. So I just folded over the bottom part of that rainbow, and that closed up that gap a little bit, and that made me much happier. I think I remembered what I was going to say about the foam pads. It allows me to tuck things underneath the rainbow stripes, so I think that was what I was going to say. If I said that already, then sorry. Okay, so I'm going back to some clouds now. So I have got my photo is going to go kind of top right of the rainbow, and I felt that it needed something to sit on. Now I appreciate that I've been drawing lots of clouds and cutting them out and stitching them lately. That's not something I normally do, but I've felt compelled to do that for this collection. So this collection clearly makes me think of white fluffy clouds, and for clouds are easy to draw, aren't they? They're just scallops, and they don't need to be perfect either. So yeah, so I've doodled a few of them, 3 of them, big ones, and I'm also going to cut out some clouds with my cloud punch for the background too. So I doodled the clouds and I'm cutting them out just from white card. I'm going to mount them onto a pattern paper, and I was debating whether I should stitch them or not, or if they could stay just with the pattern paper outline, but in the end I decided that I would stitch them, and the result is definitely worth it. I'm really happy with how they look once I took the time to do that. So yes, always stitch. If you're not sure, the answer is always yes, do it. Because even though it takes time, it always looks awesome. Okay, so here are my doodled clouds. I had some trouble drawing these ones for some reason. They were a bit wonky and didn't look very good, so I had to re-doodle them a few times. So then I had to rub out my pencil marks and make sure that those pencil marks wouldn't show. The punch clouds are going to be for the background. So they're white on white, but you can still see them. I did debate stitching around those clouds as well, but I took advice from some friends, and one said yes, stitch, and the other one said no. So I went with the one who said no, and even though I just said if you're in doubt, always stitch. Don't take my advice, do what you want, and don't stitch if you don't want to. Yeah, I didn't do it for two reasons. One was time, and I'd already spent a lot of time on this layout, and even though it probably would have looked lovely, I just thought I wouldn't. And second reason is because they're going around punched clouds, the clouds are quite small, and I was just worried that my stitching would look a bit clumsy and wouldn't quite look right. And also I wasn't sure what colour, should I do them in the pink or should I do them in white, being white on white, and I really probably should have gone with white, and then you can't really see it that well, so it's a lot of effort for something you can't really see too well. So anyway, I did not stitch around my white clouds in the background, but I did stitch around my big white clouds that are going to go under my photo. I think this, if I hadn't have done the clouds, I probably would have needed two photos on this layout, because the one just seemed, it just didn't seem right. It needed to be wider, so by having the clouds in there, it gave me a much wider area to put my photo, and then it gave me somewhere to add embellishments to as well. So yeah, that's kind of where I was going with that, and I'm much happier now that it's got the clouds in place. So yeah, just going to get my clouds on the background stuck down, and obviously I will chop off the ones that are hanging off of the edges, and then I will stitch around my other clouds, and then I can get those stuck in place too. So yeah, nearly ready. I think I added an extra couple of clouds. I think I wasn't happy with the gap top left, so I think I punched another cloud at some point and added that there, and then also I do add another two clouds in the middle of the rainbow stripes, so they appeared on that part, so it like gave the illusion that the clouds were all over the background rather than just around the sky area, because rainbows have clouds above and below them. They're not sitting on the ground, are they? So yeah. Anyway, now sorting out my thread to go around my clouds. It's slightly darker shade of the one I used on the pink hearts. I've mounted it on a cocoa vanilla paper. That's the Daydream one that had hearts all over it. So I have, they were the clouds, sorry, I'm talking about the big clouds. I've mounted those on that paper and cut round. So I was trying to find some paper that matched, some thread that matched that. Okay, so I've moved on a bit here. Unfortunately my camera cut out and we've lost a bit of the video, so I've skipped forward quite a bit. My clouds are stitched, they're in place and stuck down, and you can see that I've added some fussy cut rainbows, some floral ephemera at various points. I have the circular frame from the ephemera underneath my photo to the left, and I've also got my title in place. So I went for Home Sweet Home, which was from the homes were from the big die cut titles pack, but the sweet I'd already used somewhere else, so I had to come up with something else to use there. So the word sweet is from a pack of little teeny tiny alphabet stickers. I think they're by Pink Fresh Studio, and I've just stuck those in. They were the perfect colour actually. They're kind of like greeny blue colour that went well with the rest of the collection. So Home Sweet Home, I say I would have used the big sweet, but it's already used on a different layout, so I couldn't use that. I'm now adding some roses, paper roses from the sequins pack, just curling up the stalks there. Down at the bottom I've added a house, that's ephemera, and a rainbow flare. Over on the left hand side I've also added another house. Obviously I'm at home, so the houses go really well here. I've added a house over on the right hand side as well, and I'm really loving how this is coming together. It looks really great. I'm so happy with it. Took me such a long time to actually take the plunge and use this paper that I'm so glad that I finally did it. Yay me. Okay, so adding a few label stickers now. I've got Be a Rainbow, my favourite, Shine Bright, and Smile, so I'm getting all of those in there. They're from the paper stickers, or the cardstock stickers from this collection, and there's lots of lovely things on those stickers, on that sticker sheet, so using a few of those. Okay, now adding in some sequins. So This is a mixed bag of sequins from the Cocoa Vanilla Daydream set, and I've just sprinkled them on in various places. I wasn't sure about the flowers, so I pulled those out, and I've added a gold leaf at the top. So just getting those stuck down now with my glossy accents, also using a paper piercing tool to move my sequins out of the way, add some adhesive, and then pop them back in position. So yeah, that's just my method of sticking sequins. It's the quickest one that I've found. Okay, so they are nearly stuck. I think I've also added some gold twiddles of thread behind my flowers and behind the rainbow on the left hand side. So I have this really giant cluster going on with my photo, whilst also having some embellishments elsewhere on the layout too. So I've got the little house at the bottom, some hearts on the other parts of the rainbow too. They were from the ephemera, and they just, you know, colour on colour, just subtle, looks pretty. And just added a little extra thing to it as well. So I'm really happy. I didn't want to just leave the whole rest of the rainbow unembellished, so I'm glad I did that. And I'm now just coming in with some gold splatters of paint around my cluster, and then I also put some on the left hand side where the house is as well, just to kind of bring along that, you know, highlight that line that goes all the way across the layout really. Okay, so just adding in some journaling. I've got a little white space on that cloud, so just adding that with my very fine line pen. And actually I ran out of room, so I had to go down onto the rainbow stripe as well. Oh well. Okay, so that is me done. Thank you very much for joining me today. I hope you've enjoyed this layout. I loved making it. I'm really happy with the result. Yeah, so all done. That was Nikki Rowland for Lottie Loves Paper.